Hey, Daniel the Adjuster here, and I just wanted to thank you for joining my channel. Hey, you want to be an adjuster and you're wondering how to go about doing it? Well, stick around because I'm going to teach you how to do it in just as quickly and as efficiently as I can. You're thinking, well, I don't have any experience as an adjuster. I have never really done anything with home building. I've never done anything with insurance. I just don't know where to begin. Well, this is the career for everyone. And the reason why is because a lot of your training is going to be done hands-on for the first couple years that you get into the business. A lot of times you're going to start as a desk adjuster. Everybody says, well, I don't want to start as a desk adjuster. I want to be a field adjuster. Well, that's something that will be reserved for later as you have learned the skill of insurance and the technology, basically the technology of the software. You've got to learn policy and language and a lot of things like that that can't come just from walking in and handling claims. So be prepared to be starting as a desk adjuster. Now, there's nothing bad about being a desk adjuster. There is great opportunity to travel, there's great opportunity to meet new people, and to get the training that you need to start this journey. First and foremost, if you're starting brand new, let's get started. Brand new adjusters have to have a license. Now, licensing is kind of tricky, and so you want to look on a place. A lot of times I tell people to go to like catadjuster.org. It's a great opportunity to learn about licensing. Also, Adjuster Pro has a great opportunity, a lot of information there for learning about the licensing in each of your states. But first and foremost, you're going to have to get the license in your specific state that you live in. And by looking at the Adjuster Pro website, you can find out whether your state has a license. If it doesn't have a license, that's actually a pretty good scenario because then you can handle claims in that state without a license. But in order to operate outside of that state, you're going to have to get another license from another state that actually is recognized as a kind of like a home state. So what my recommendations are is there's several states that are great licenses to get. Texas being your first one, Indiana being your second one, and Florida being your third. Now in that order, not necessarily. I have found that Indiana actually is a great home state to have because it can reciprocate or basically allow you to gather other licenses, actually more licenses than Florida or Texas. So Indiana is actually a great state. It has kind of trumps the other two by about 3 states, about 3 or 4 states to get a little bit more. But hey, if you're not somebody who wants to get all the states in the United States as licenses, then it really doesn't matter if you get Texas, Florida, or Indiana. But the reason why those are important is because they do allow you to get other states without having to take the test. So once you pass the test in Texas or Florida or Indiana, it will allow you to get other states' licenses just by applying and paying the fee. Here you are now licensed, okay? It's gonna take a process. So take one of those courses called pre-licensing courses. It will help you get past the hurdles of understanding what's on the test and help you study. So great opportunity to learn about licensing and policy and some language by taking those tests. Secondly is you want to get some training. Now training comes in lots of different varieties. You can either go through an adjusting firm to get licensing training, or basically you can do it on your own. But the primary experience or training that you're going to have to receive is carrier-specific training. Now, what I mean by that is if you want to go work State Farm Claims, they have a specific licensing course that you're going to have to take. You're either going to have to take their property or fire course or their auto training course. And you cannot handle their auto policy or their house policy, they call it a fire policy, without either one of those certifications. Carrier-specific certifications are going to be important training for you guys to get because you will not be able to work those claims unless you have that training. So there's others. Liberty Mutual has one, USA has one, the list goes on and on, so just keep that in mind. Now, the most important, I think, training of all is Xactimate. Xactimate is the software that insurance companies use to write the estimates for the insurance company. It's pretty much a standard insurance software. There is another one called Symbility. It's not very popular, but it could be another opportunity for you to get that experience so that you can learn more and have an opportunity to get deployed more. But Xactimate has 2 certifications, basically level 1 or level 2. They actually do have a level 3, but I don't recommend getting it. But level 1 and level 2 is going to be a necessary requirement for you to show that you know the software well enough to handle and write claims for the insurance company. So let me back up. In order to find work, you're going to apply to firms. Firms are the go-between between the insurance company and us. We cannot go directly to the insurance company for work. We have to operate or go through a firm. Now the firms are the guys who will tell the insurance company, hey, I've got somebody in your area, basically wherever you guys are living. They'll be able to tell the carrier and say, hey, I've got coverage there, so if you want to send us claims, we can handle those claims. Well, they're the ones that will send you the assignments as the adjuster to handle those claims. So the only way that I can receive those claims is to get onto their rosters or their lists. And that's basically saying to the firm, I live here, I'm licensed in these states, I'm certified in these programs, I am Xactimate certified, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to be selling yourself to the firms as hopefully your resume will look really great, but you're going to be selling yourself to them so that they'll be encouraged to send you work your way. The firms are your friend, and they're the way that we get work. So there's people that'll say, well, I'm on a couple. I say, you've got to get on as many as possible. And the reason why is because you just don't know what's going to happen in the future when a carrier will come up and say, hey, we just are deciding to handle this carrier in your area. Do you have anybody that lives in that area that could handle these claims? And if you are on that roster with that firm, they're going to have you with a pin basically located on your city and location, and they're going to go through their database and go, yes, Daniel's right there. And I can send you claims, I can send him claims, sure. And then we talk to the carrier, and the carrier says, oh great, well we'll start sending you claims and Daniel can start handling them for us. That would be great. Well, if you're not on that roster or listed in that firm to be able to be ready for claims, then you just missed out on an opportunity that could otherwise be just a wonderful opportunity for you to stay busy. So that's a daily claim scenario where you are located in one little city. This is where your home base is, and you tell all these firms, I'm ready to handle claims, so please send them my way. So if you're on 100 firms rosters and you're telling those 100 firms, I'm here, I'm waiting with my hand up, please send me claims, there's a good opportunity for you to find daily claims. Now, the second part of work, and the reason why it's important to be on those rosters, is catastrophe work. They do the exact same thing when they're looking for adjusters to deploy to other parts of the country when the bad event occurs. So bad events occur all over the country all year round. And what happens is the carrier will call the firm and they'll say, hey, we just had a fire in California. Do you have anybody who lives in California that can deploy? And they'll say, no, we don't have anybody in California. And they'll say, okay, well, where's the next closest people that we have that can go to California? And maybe they have some people in Las Vegas or wherever, and the firm will call up those Las Vegas people and say, hey, can you go to California and start handling claims? And they'll say, sure, we'll go. And that's how you can get deployed for catastrophe work. Now, not always is it right in your next state or close by. Sometimes it can be halfway across the country. But again, being on those firms or lists or rosters allows you to be available to that carrier if they were to call the firm and say, hey, we need 20 adjusters to go down to Florida because we just had a hurricane. And if that firm is short, not able to provide that amount of people, that carrier will go to another firm and ask the exact same question. So what I tell people is to get on the big firms, the people who have tons and tons of experience, they've been around a long time, because they're the ones that the carrier is first calling to deploy those people to. The smaller firms or the kind of not so established ones might get the leftovers. They're not going to get the primary work. So if you're listed on all the best firms, great chance for you to get deployed quickly. So keep that in mind. But like I mentioned, that resume is going to be key to you getting deployed. So I don't know if you've never filled out one. There's lots of examples online, but literally it's a little bit about yourself and then talking about your education, and then you literally just go straight into all the experience that would be relevant to the insurance world. Whether it was, hey, I was a handyman for 2 years, maybe I worked for a construction firm as a secretary. I mean, anything at all could be related. Also, if you have software experience, say, hey, I'm fluent in Microsoft Word and Excel. These are great programs that are used on a regular basis with insurance, and you can put that on your resume. And it's a great opportunity to show that you're fluent in these programs that we use every day. But the resume is very important. It is what's going to sell you to the firms for them to be able to say, yes, I want Daniel on my roster and I'm going to find him work. And that's it. Otherwise, they're just going to keep going down their list, looking at other resumes, looking at other resumes, looking at other resumes, until they find somebody that appeals to them with the experience they're looking for. Now, you have to understand the relationship between the firm and the insurance company. The firm is doing everything they can to solidify the work for the insurance company, but also to do the best job they can for the insurance company. So if they do a crummy job, let's say they hired a crummy adjuster and he does a crummy job and then they turn in a crummy product, well, it's going to reflect badly on the firm that hired you. So you want to be really careful as a firm to make sure you're hiring the best people that are going to represent you in the best way, because you could lose the contract from the carrier and then be out of a whole lot of work. So those firms are very particular about who they hire too, is because you got to remember they're representing, or you're representing them when you're on that roster. So a great opportunity for adjusters, making sure they're on their rosters, making sure their resume's good, make sure you're getting training, and then make sure that you are ready to go or to be sent out on a catastrophe at a moment's notice. This is one of the trickiest things that a lot of adjusters get left behind on, is somebody will call them up and say, hey, I need you in Texas in 24 hours. And you're like, but I got kids in school, I got this, I got that, I got work, I got whatever, and you're not prepared. And your first answer might be, I'm not sure I'm ready to go tomorrow. Can you wait like 3 days? And they're going to say, no, we need somebody there tomorrow. And you could totally miss out on an opportunity that would be life-changing for you if you say no or if you pause. So one of the things I try to tell people as an adjuster is always be ready, thinking that the phone could ring at any moment and they could deploy you instantaneously. And if you're ready to go always, then when they call, it's just a simple yes, I can be there. And make arrangements, figure it out, and go. And have your wife or girlfriend, whoever, on board, knowing that at any moment you could have to leave and be in another state in 24 hours. So I'm going to stop there for now. Lots of information, but hey, check out my links below. Lots of other videos there to help you guys out. But Daniel the Adjuster, here to help. Talk to you soon.